Welcome to the College of Arts and Sciences overview. Today I want to tell you about the really great majors, minors, and degrees we have here in the largest and most diverse college on campus. I'll tell you today about our humanities, our social sciences, our fine and performing arts, as well as our physical and biological sciences. As I go through this presentation today, I will give you just a little bit of information about each one. And at the end of this presentation, I'll leave several links, including my email, at the end in case you would like to reach out for more information. My name is Arlene Parquet, and I am the Director of Recruitment and Retention for the College of Arts and Sciences. So let's get ready. The first major I'm going to talk about today is anthropology. Now, anthropology is like the broadest area you can possibly study. It's the study of humans, and their environment since the beginning of time. It doesn't get any bigger than that. And there are so many things that anthropologists can study within those boundaries. They can focus on archaeology, some do cultural social anthropology, others do physical, biological anthropology, and linguistics, which is the evolution of language throughout history. Anthropology in our department, like I said, is very broad, and it's also located in College Hall, along with a museum of anthropology. I recommend if you're on campus here in Pullman, come to the Museum of Anthropology, and hopefully it'll be open and you can see what kind of cool things are in there. But when you come to school here, you can also volunteer to be a docent in that museum. When you volunteer for things like this, not only is it fun to work with the public, but it also gives you a peek at what goes on behind the scenes. And there's really cool stuff back there. So that's anthropology. We also, in the Department of Anthropology, we have the Bachelor of Arts in Human Biology. Now, this is shared with classes between anthropology and biological sciences. And it is intended to be a great degree for people who want to go into the medical field. And that means pre-medical, pre-dental, physical therapy, nursing, occupational therapy, all of those can fall under that, speech and hearing sciences. And this is a great major in preparation for that, like I said. Okay, next we have comparative ethnic studies. Comparative ethnic studies is the study of the stories and experiences of communities of color. And you can look at this from history and the social dynamics of racism. And this major is also very interdisciplinary. So you have a lot of choice in the direction you want to take this study. You can talk about popular culture, as we have a minor in that. You might look at literature. You might look at history. You might look at religion. There's all kinds of things that you can embed in your comparative ethnic studies major. As you see, we have a Bachelor of Arts, and we also have a minors in comparative ethnic studies as well as popular culture. Criminal justice and criminology is one of our most popular degrees here in Pullman and at the university. The Bachelor of Arts in Criminal Justice and Criminology is the full liberal arts 4-year degree, and you can also get a minor in criminal justice. When you study criminal justice, you're going to examine the causes and patterns of criminal behavior, as well as the institutions and the people in that criminal justice system and the role that law plays in the prevention of and response to crime. Check out the opportunity with criminal justice to maybe study abroad over spring break each year. They go to another country, probably the Netherlands in the future, and to experience and study a different way of policing in their country. They also you can apply to be a cadet if you're interested in getting some hands-on experience with what it's like to be a police officer. Then you could apply to be a cadet, and you could do that for more than 1 year also. It is competitive, and so you want to start looking into that right away if you want to do it. The cadets do almost everything that a police officer does, and they really learn that hands-on. In addition, there's a lot of really good research going on in the Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology, and they really rely on undergraduate students to help out with that research. I wish I had time to tell you more about that. Digital technology and culture is a degree that you might not have ever heard of. The way I like to describe digital technology and culture is it's interdisciplinary, which means it's got a lot of different places you can go with it, but you can combine art and design with cultural studies, with communication and technology. Now, when I say technology in this context, I'm not talking about writing code. You could do that, but that's not the kind of technology that most of our students do. You might do photography, you might do digital media, you might want to do graphic arts, you might do artificial intelligence, or you might want to do web design. There's a number of different technologies that can be embedded in this. Now, another way to describe digital technology and culture, it's the study of our culture and how it's been impacted by the development of technology. And conversely, how the development of technology is driven by the culture in which we live, and then how we communicate in that world that we are seeing happen before our eyes. If you're interested in digital technology and culture, or even if you're not sure, I recommend that you would join the Digital Media Club. Not only can you connect with other students who have similar interests, but you'll also meet faculty and staff, and it gives you access to some of the technology that we have here. So try it out, see how it feels. English. Now, English is the study of the English language, but you study that through literature, technology, culture, writing. There's all kinds of things that are built into this. So you can see we have options where you can focus on literature, rhetoric and professional writing, creative writing, English teaching, linguistics, which is similar to the linguistics in anthropology, but with a little different direction. You can see we also have a number of minors in the Department of English. If you want to be involved in editing and publishing and some other really good activities, you might want to look at getting a certificate. Editing and publishing is just one of those. Certificates require fewer hours than a minor does, but it's a really good add-on to your degree to show an employer that you have this specific skill. Now, we also have several online and print journals that students can participate in. And so editing and publishing is a really good skill to know, both online and in print. And so taking that to whatever career you want to go into will really help. So that's English. Now, fine arts. In fine arts, you've got two different degrees. You can get a Bachelor of Fine Arts, which is usually called the BFA, and that has a heavy concentration on the production of art of all these different kinds. Then we have a Bachelor of Arts in Fine Arts, which is a little more general. You can choose a direction in art history, or you might just stay general art, or you could do studio art, which is the production of art. We also have minors in art history, and exhibition studies. The Fine Arts building is right next to our new Schnitzer Museum of Fine Arts, and it gives our students lots of opportunities to engage with them as well. Now, a lot of people have been doing art, so maybe if you've done art before of any kind and you want to keep that up, you can join the art club, the photography club, whatever there is, but we don't want you to lose sight of the things that fill that artistic side of you, and fine arts is one way to keep that going. Foreign languages and cultures is the study of languages other than English, as well as the culture in which those languages are spoken. We believe it's very important, not just to learn the words, but to learn the context of how those words are used, how they came to be, and what they mean in a real sense in a community. Proficiency in a foreign language is a big bonus for any kind of job, any kind of internship, whatever it is you're going for. Being bilingual or multilingual is becoming more and more important in our world. We highly recommend, if you've had a foreign language in high school, you don't have to major or minor in foreign languages and cultures, and you don't even have to have a minor, but we find a way. I want to challenge you to find a way to keep as much of that language intact and growing as you can, because you won't regret it down the road. Now, in foreign languages and cultures, you can see here we have a Bachelor of Arts in the languages of Chinese, French, Japanese, and Spanish. We have a second major, which we call Language for the Professions. Now, the languages are a little bit different here. We've got Japanese, French, German, and Spanish. Now, the way this works is this Language for the Professions has to be paired with another degree. Let's use criminal justice as an example. If you want to go into law enforcement or any kind of criminal justice environment, it may come in handy to know how to speak Spanish. That's our most common language, so we'll use that. We'll go with that one. And so the focus of these majors, Language for the Professions, is more toward the applied use of language in a professional setting. So the difference between these and the Language for the Professions and the pure language degrees is a little less of the poetry and literature. There's, it's again more toward using it in a real world kind of setting. So I hope that is clear. And again, if you have questions at the end of this presentation, you can look up my email and let me know if you have anything that's missing. Okay. Our next major is a Bachelor of Arts in History. We have general history and history pre-law. I'll talk about pre-law later. We also have history education or teaching, as well as social studies education. And then we have minors in history, Asian studies, and war and society. Now I want to talk here about the education options. If you want to major in history, you have a choice. If you want to, add on the education piece to be certified in teaching history, then you can do both at the same time. Or you could choose not to and just take general history. If, however, you want to study social studies and get that degree, it is required that you have the teaching option with it. So you can't just get a social studies without the teaching certificate. So just understanding that up front will be helpful. Studying history is our way to understand diverse people, institutions, and cultures of the past. Our faculty specialize in all kinds of research, including the American West, the military, see what else, the environment. So there's many, many options for taking, the direction you take when you study history. Our history department is also known for their fantastic teaching with undergraduate students. We've seen a lot of awards for our history professors. All of our faculty do, and history is especially known for really focusing on their undergrads and really working closely with them. All right, now we have humanities and social sciences. Now, these two degrees are what we call, interdisciplinary. And I've used that word a lot here, but these are like what I like to call, this is a simplistic way of putting it, the design your own degree. Okay, if that makes any sense. So let's take social sciences. Let's say you really like the social sciences and you got some political science interests and maybe some sociology, maybe some comparative ethnic studies, but you also want to pull from areas like communication and business. These degrees allow a lot of flexibility in what you pull into your degree to meet your personal needs. If you have some special skills and knowledge that you want to make sure you have when you leave here, humanities and social sciences is a good option for that. If you don't find just one place where you want to be. Let's see. I think that's it. The versatility of these degrees also allow students to graduate on time. Sometimes if people get behind because they changed their major or something like that, then very often they'll go to the humanities and the social sciences as a way to create the flexibility they need in order to finish in a timely way. All right, School of Music. Just like we talked about with the Department of Fine Arts, music also has a Bachelor of Arts in Fine Arts as well as a Bachelor of Music. Now, the Bachelor of Music, just like the BFA we talked about in art, is more of a heavy concentration on the music. And students can focus on composition, they can focus on performance or teaching. They have those options. The Bachelor of Arts in Music is more general and can include more different areas. We also have the minors in music, jazz studies, and music technology. We have a fantastic recording studio here on campus. And people other than our music students can use that. The other thing that I want to tell you about School of Music, and I want you to think about, if you're involved in music now, whether it's choral or instrumental, there is a place for you here. The performing groups that we have here with our School of Music are not limited to music majors or minors. Anybody can do that. So if you have played the saxophone for 5 or 6 years and you want to continue that because it's kind of a part of you, you can join the Cougar Marching Band, or you can join a jazz band. You can be in a choir. Some of these groups are very competitive and others are, just take it for credit. But it gives you an opportunity to, keep that part of your life going. The next major I'm going to talk about is philosophy. Now, I like this one because simply put, philosophy is the study of how to think and process problem solving. That is an important skill for you to have all the time you're in college as well as afterward. So look at philosophy as a potential option. There are 2 classes that I recommend every student take, and they're both philosophy classes. One is a course in ethics, and the other is a course in logic. The logic class for many of the majors I'm talking about today, but not all of them, will also count as your math. The value of a logic class is that it teaches you how to think through problems. And so for the tests you're going to take down the road, it's a very important skill to start developing early on. So that's just a recommendation, not a requirement. Political science. Political science is the study of politics. Who would have thought? Students are going to study the systems of governance and analyze political thought, behavior, and action, as well as the Constitution and the laws. There's a lot of, you can go in a general political science direction, or you can do global politics. Now, this is another pre-law option. So I'll take a moment here to talk about pre-law. There are a couple of things I want you to know. If you're interested in law, then we have assistance for you here. But you should know that there are 3 things that law schools are looking for. They want you to go to a good undergraduate school and get good grades. It's up to you to get the grades, but our graduates have gone on to the best law schools in the country. Number 2, they're looking for your LSAT class, your LSAT scores, which is the national entrance exam for all law schools in this country. The LSAT score is very important. That's where that logic class comes in, because it's a good preparation for that test if you use all the skills throughout your college years. Excuse me. So the other thing, the third thing that law schools are looking for is diversity. Gender and ethnicity and race may also play into this, but they're also looking for other kinds of diversity, coming from different kinds of schools, from different geographic areas, socioeconomic level, all these things are kind of woven. They want a diverse group in their classes in law schools. And one of the other things that they take into mind is the degree that they get. They want people from a variety of different majors. So if political science is what you love and you want to go with that, you go with it. But if you want to go to law school and you want to major in, agriculture, you can do that. And so it's important to realize that that's not your major, but it is your focus and your direction. I'll talk later about some of the support that we have here to help students work through that process. Our next degree is psychology. Now, psychology is the study of human behavior, okay? The next one I'm going to talk about is sociology, which is also the study of human behavior. However, psychology studies human behavior and the mental processes that determine that behavior. So there's a focus on the brain and the neuroscience. Psychology encourages all students possible to get involved with research. Even if you don't ever think you're going to go to a graduate school, developing the skills and using the skills that you learned while doing research will help you throughout your life. So psychology believes this is so important. They actually give grants to students who want to fund their own research. And they have a lot of graduate students as well as faculty who are doing some really interesting research that you can join in on. So I said psychology and sociology are both studies of human behavior. Sociology is a study of social life, how and why we group together in societies, and how to understand our role, the individual's role in that society. Sociology has these different, we have the three majors in sociology: workplace diversity as well as at-risk youth. Many people who study sociology go on to get a master's in social work, or they can work in hospitals, schools, care centers. There's all kinds of places where you will find sociologists working with people. Martin Luther King Jr. was a sociology major, and it was his understanding and knowledge of how people are likely to behave in these social settings that gave him a lot of direction in the civil rights movement. One quote I want to leave you with: social matters. Our lives are affected not only by our personal psychology, but by our place in the world. That's what sociologists want to find out. The other thing, one more thing about sociology, they have a great emphasis on internships. So even though Pullman seems like a small town, there are a lot of internships available for students, but internships are available throughout the state and throughout the country. So taking a look at that, we'll talk more about internships later as well, but sociology, the department really focuses on getting their students to use what they're learning in the classroom and put it into use in the real world, in a real setting. And that is a powerful experience. We now come to Women's, Gender, and Sexuality Studies. We call it for short WGSS. We have a Bachelor of Arts in Women's, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, as long as minors, and Women's Studies and Queer Studies. Now, this is a degree that uses interdisciplinary research and teaching that places at the center of that research gender. And they explore race, ethnicity, sexuality, social class, nationality, age, ability. All of these things can enter into how you study the role of women, gender, and sexuality. Now we're going on to the sciences. The School of Biological Sciences has two of some of the most popular degrees on campus. We have the Bachelor of Science in Biology, as well as a Bachelor of Science in Zoology. Now, biology is considered the science of life. It looks at the molecular, cellular, and physiological ecological and global systems of life, and they study life from prehistoric times to our current days with organisms that are still alive now. Zoology is a science of animals. So a lot of students who choose biology and zoology are headed toward health careers. And so I would say a great number of our students in the biological sciences, that's their goal, is to be in some kind of health profession. However, there are all kinds of directions that students can take and do. We've got the plant biology, also called botany, and some entomology. You can go on to do research, you can go on to teach, you can work in any kind of setting. With the schools, you learn in biology, and this is another area where getting involved in research, getting in the lab is going to be an important part of your experience. Okay, next we have chemistry. The Bachelor of Science in Chemistry has all these options that are listed here. Excuse me. Chemistry is the branch of science that studies the nature and characteristics of substances and the changes that they go through. And it provides the building blocks for all materials. It's really a very basic, with atoms and molecules that underpins all of science. The chemistry club in this department is very active. They do fun things. Occasionally they'll make ice cream out of I don't know what, but it's really good. So they really have a good time with that. But the chemistry club is a really good fit in this department, especially. They have a fairly small undergraduate group, with a very large graduate study group. And this is a benefit to the undergraduates in this department because they get a lot of personal attention. And with the research going on, not just by faculty, but by graduate students, the research opportunities are endless here for you. Okay, data analytics. Now this is a fairly new program here at Washington State University. And while it's housed in the College of Arts and Sciences in the Department of Mathematics and Statistics, this really is a university degree. You can see here, there's a number of different tracks you can follow: actuarial sciences, agriculture, business, economics, life sciences, all kinds of directions you can take it. And so students will choose. Now, data analytics it requires that you process data to discover useful information, to draw conclusions and make decisions based on that big data. You curate, you analyze, you discover, and you have to communicate from that big data. This is a program that involves a lot of math, but it has endless future career potential. This is the future, and we will see opportunities growing in the years to come. Mathematics and statistics, you can get a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics with minors in Math and Statistics. Now the options that students take, we have actuarial sciences and all the others here. Actuarial sciences is probably the biggest option that students take in Math and Statistics. Math is considered to be the foundation of the physical and social sciences. It's used as a tool for research. And math has also been considered throughout human civilization to be an art. And when you talk to mathematicians, they will tell you that is true. Physics and astronomy is the study of the natural world. They study all the way from subatomic particles to the universe. They study matter, energy, space, and time, and they search for the patterns that provide clues to how the universe works. Here at WSU, we have a lot of special things that happen in physics and astronomy. Once a year in the fall, we have a pumpkin drop where items are tossed off the 12th floor of Webster Hall here on our campus, and they study the physics of what happens, how heavy things are, how fast it falls, what happens when it falls, and it's very interesting. The physics club a few years ago actually built their own weather balloon, sent it into outer space, carrying the Cougar flag, and they came and then brought it back. They were able to sell the flag and have money for more of their activities in the club. In addition, we have a planetarium on campus and the Jewett Observatory. One thing I love to do here is when the observatory every once in a while has what they call star parties. And if the sky is clear, everybody comes out, they bring their own telescopes, and we sit out on the hillside. There's food to eat, and you can go inside and look into the big telescope, and there might be music playing. It's just really a fun, relaxing time to enjoy that part of our sciences here. All right, we also have the School of the Environment. Now there are several majors in here that fall under this degree. Earth Sciences is, it's to learn about how our planet works. What's the natural process of global change, and how can we better understand our current environment by understanding that? The major of Environmental and Ecosystem Sciences, students will look at the dynamics between the human population and their need and demand for goods and services, and then to determine how or if the ecosystem in that area can fill that need. Not every ecosystem is safe or smart for people to live and demand goods and resources. So that's how they help with communities, building, all kinds of things. Forestry, our forestry students, they are preparing to make a positive impact locally and globally by creating, managing, conserving, and repairing forested ecosystems. So it's not just about planting things. They have to be managed, and they help keep us all safe from forest fires and all of that, and continue building our forests and renewing them. The final major in the Bachelor of Science in Earth and Environmental Sciences is Wildlife Ecology and Conservation Science. The support of conservation and management of biological diversity is a central part of this major. And that includes the wildlife population in both a natural setting as well as managed landscapes, like zoos. One of the things I hear a lot from students who choose to major in the School of the Environment in this degree, one of the things they have in common is they love to be outdoors. There's all kinds of trips that they take locally and further beyond to actually do hands-on work in these areas that they're studying. So if you're someone who likes to be outside and wants to really get your hands dirty in this kind of major, this might be a good fit for you. Okay, now what I want to do is, wherever you go to college, and for our purposes today, I'm going to assume you're coming to Washington State University when it's time, I'm going to send you a challenge. There are several things that you need to do in your first semester. You need to connect with faculty. This can sometimes be a challenge for some students. They think the professor knows everything and I don't know anything. Why would they want to talk to me? So I have some recommendations. One of the things I recommend is that when you get your classes and you know who's going to be teaching you, Google them. This is not cyber stalking. This is research. This is, and it's an important part of the process. When you do that, you might find out where they've lived, maybe in places where you've been. You might find out how many dogs they have. You might find out what kind of research they're doing. And you might hear about research by looking at what the faculty are doing that I never thought of that. That might be really cool. Or you might be looking for somebody who already has an interest in something you're already into. Okay, so connecting with faculty is important. The other thing you should know about connecting with faculty is they write the best letters of recommendation. And there's not one of you out there that won't eventually need a letter of recommendation, whether it's for a study abroad program or an internship or a job. for years to come. Faculty write the best letters of recommendation, but they don't write them for people they don't know. So keep that in mind. Join and participate in clubs and organizations. This is more than just having pizza with, your club once a month or so. This is a great opportunity to connect with people who have similar interests. You don't have to be in the major. Say if you're interested in history, you don't have to be a history major to join the history club. All of these are open. And we have over 400 clubs and organizations for students to get involved in. Research your opportunities to study abroad. These days, that's things have changed. It's a little bit different, and we're hoping in the future that will really open up. But your first year and the first semester is the time to start looking at that. Ask yourself, if I go abroad, do I want to learn to speak another language? Because not all of them require that. How much money is it going to cost? Do I want to be gone for a semester or just a week? Do I want to go on the faculty-led or something else? So there are just so many opportunities. Starting in your first semester, go talk to the study abroad office counselors, and they will help you kind of work through the process of what's important to you to help identify the programs that will best fit your needs. But you don't want to wait to the last minute to do that. There are also scholarships available for students who are studying abroad. Find ways to engage in research. And we've talked a lot about research already, but find some ways to do that. Listen to your advisor, talk to faculty, talk to other students about what kind of research they're doing. I know a number of students who just talk to a friend, and that friend goes to the professor who's running the lab, and they get in that way. Developing your leadership and professional skills. And this can start from day one in your residence hall. There are opportunities to take on leadership roles from day one. And so challenge yourself to do that. Explore internship opportunities. Much like the study abroad, you don't want to wait till you're seniors to start thinking about doing an internship. If you start early, you might be able to do one or two, and maybe even more. Internships can be very short or they can be very long. Very often, internships end up with job offers, which is a good thing. Participating in service learning is, if you like to do community service and volunteering, the Center for Civic Engagement is a great place to do that. Get to know your academic advisor, pay attention to their emails, answer their questions when they ask you, and be responsible. And those, I can't even talk today, but getting to know your academic advisor will help them help you better. Also, explore career and professional development opportunities. So you may already know that you want to major in a particular area, but I'll tell you that I think it's 80% of students change their mind at some time. Now, you may end up right back where you started, but it's really a good idea to keep an open mind, explore new things. You can explore it through joining clubs, taking a class to kind of say, well, maybe this is good. In those professional development opportunities that will come to you, there are workshops in how to best do a resume, interview skills. It's just endless, the opportunities that are offered here to help you grow in that way. You can also apply to be a student ambassador. Most of our colleges have an ambassador program for undergraduate students. Here in the College of Arts and Sciences, we start asking for applications in November each year. We have in-person interviews in February, training throughout the spring semester so that students can be a full-fledged student ambassador by the next fall. And it's a lot of fun. If you want to talk to some of our ambassadors sometime about what those opportunities are like, I can definitely get you in touch with them. Okay, now I'm going to go through this pretty quick, but just know that there's a lot of support to help you be successful. If you're going for a health profession of some kind, then the Health Profession Student Center is a great place to go to get more information and to get support. Hopefully this link will work and you can go in there and pull it up. We also have the Pre-Law Resource Center. So like we were talking about pre-law before, this Pre-Law Resource Center is there to help you prepare to make sure you're taking the right courses, doing the right things, and gaining the right skills in order to be accepted into a good law school. And both students and faculty will help you there. We also have, for students who are taking chemistry or math, we have learning centers. These are places where you can go to work with a group of people on problems or to get special tutoring. Okay, there's some additional resources here. I'm going to leave this up for a little bit while I finish up here. Our academic fact sheets, you can get more specific information about all of these majors that we talked about today. And admission to your major, that's how you can get in and continue in whatever it is you choose to study. Keys for Success has all kinds of resources and links embedded in that website that you can explore the other kinds of resources available to our students. We have over 400 clubs and organizations. This will take you to what we have in the College of Arts and Sciences. We also have a writing program here that is an award winning. We have employers specially seek out our students because of the writing program and our emphasis on good writing. That's really valued when people are looking for to hire people, when employers are looking to hire people. Also here, you'll see my email is parka@wsu.edu. You may email me anytime if you have additional questions and ways that I can help you. If you want to talk to a faculty member in an area you're interested in, or speak to a student ambassador, we are here to help you. That's the end of our presentation. Thank you for coming. And as we always say here in Pullman, go Cougs.